In the eternal confrontation of cats and dogs, the advantage is almost always with dogs. They are usually heavier, more massive, and also know how to act as a team. Therefore, it seems that this cat does not have a single chance. Fortunately, at the last moment, he appears to be her superhero. One cat attacks a whole pack of dogs, and thanks to rage and claws, manages to literally defeat the enemy. The cat throws away dogs who don't want to feel his claws in their eyes. And when the dogs recovered a little and were ready to counterattack, the enemy had already disappeared with his beloved. A real knight. The mother cat is also capable of such feats. These dogs wanted to hurt her baby. Well, they didn't know who they were messing with. First, the cat repelled the attack on the baby, and then started chasing 3 dogs. But do not think that cats and dogs hate each other just because they belong to rival species. This cat witnessed how a strange dog attacked a dog that belongs to his family. This was a big mistake. The aggressor did not know that this cat is a real defender of the house. He crashed into someone else's dog with his whole body and saved his furry friend. An emu is a bird that looks funny, but in fact is on the list of the most dangerous birds on the planet. At first glance, she is not particularly impressive, but her physical form is enough to fight on equal terms with the largest predators. In order to work with emus, wildlife researchers need all-metal shields. These birds are so devastatingly able to beat. But the main thing is their honest, pure, and inexhaustible love for fights. This one does not need to be provoked at all. He'll start pestering you himself. For him, any creation that he did not like in some way is a potential target. The emu doesn't even kick this sheep. Out of contempt for her, the bird just pecks at her head. And this emu is literally hunting a dog. Just look at how the bird hovers over its prey. The dog clearly did not understand what was happening. Some feathered monster appears, which looks into his eyes and runs after him with an obvious desire to break his skull. This is far from the only case. Although the emu is taller, the dog is heavier and theoretically stronger. But the bird doesn't care that they are in different weight categories. She wants to show that this dog's place is in the far corner of the kennel. It's better not to get caught in the eyes of an emu. The goose does not have huge claws and a sharp curved beak like an eagle. It doesn't have the impressive dimensions of an ostrich or condor. But every goose is a real warrior at heart. This dog is not trying to harm the goose. On the contrary, he nobly keeps an aggressive bird because the owner's property must be protected. But the feathered one does not understand the good impulse of the dog. It goes on attack. And the goose doesn't care that it's an alibi, a shepherd dog that was bred to protect against wolves. The goose goes on the attack, gets a couple of blows, but then gets up and rushes into battle again. It seems that he watched several episodes of Naruto and is now sure that the main thing in battle is not to give up. We don't know exactly what inspired this formidable bird, but although the dog has a clear advantage, the feathered approach is bearing fruit. The huge dog is retreating. He underestimated the stubbornness and unstoppability of an ordinary goose. Okay, but what about someone bigger? This goose is against his family being forced out of his favorite corner on the shore. That's why he's going to attack a whole herd of cows. Even one cow is a couple hundred times heavier and several orders of magnitude stronger than a bird. She could have trampled on him without a problem. And neither wing beats nor goose bites pose a serious threat to these ungulates. But despite these facts, cows cannot displace a goose. It is he who attacks them and drives them away. Amazing. His female just stands there and watches her partner easily scatter huge opponents. And why interfere? She's already sure of him. And you know what? She's right. The goose boldly goes into battle, into the hoofed giant retreat. They are trying to counterattack the brazen bird, but its pressure is stronger than a stone wall. In vain, they underestimated their opponent. It seems that the whole life of a goose is a futile search for a worthy opponent. Look at this brave bird. She's chasing two tigers. Cats are shocked by the bravery of this feathered terminator. That's when arrogance really saves a life. Each of these striped goons could have dealt with the goose with one blow. But the bird spreads its wings and goes on the attack. The tigers can only retreat. They are afraid of such pressure because they think that the power of the feathered impudent is much greater than it is. It is not necessary to take an example from a goose, but in a critical situation, self-confidence and fortitude can really save where there is not enough physical strength. With powerful blows of the wings, the bird stuns its enemy, making him tremble. And no one will want to meet with the tenacious beak of the goose. It's funny. It turns out that when the tigers decided to attack the goose, they first underestimated it. And when they began to retreat in panic, they overestimated. Have you ever had similar stories in your life? Share them in the comments. Finally, the goose has found a worthy opponent. You will be shocked, but the only animal that could fight back against this feathered avenger is an elephant. Yes, you got it right. You need to be literally the largest land animal in the modern world to give a decent fight to an ordinary goose. These two opponents are worthy of each other. Just look at these titans fight. The goose goes to attack the elephant, but unlike tigers and other large animals, our hero withstands this pressure and counterattacks himself. He puts his trunk into action and then even turns his back to the enemy. It's probably some kind of karate kick. Amazing skill on both sides. Here is a case when both animals underestimated their enemy, but neither of them began to retreat. This fight looks funny. A multi-ton elephant is trying to gore a goose, which an adult could lift with one hand without any problems. But we already know what these birds are like in business. The courage of an elephant causes genuine respect, don't you agree? By the way, there is some kind of mutual respect between the rivals. It's like they're at a tournament and want to show off their entire arsenal. Well, or the elephant just wants to finally find a way to drive this crazy bird out of its territory. Crocodiles like to ambush, but this warthog clearly noticed the predator in time. And when the reptile made a dash, the boar easily dodged the bite, jumped over the enemy, and ran away. The crocodile is in shock, but at least he remained in the status of a predator. The crocodile clearly considered himself a real monster, which everyone in Africa is afraid of. No, not all of them. Here's the best illustration for the words. Boy, you came to the wrong area. Huge hippos literally pulled the crocodile out of the water and started kicking it like a soccer ball. For them, he is not a predator, but a victim. Do you also not like it when someone steals food right out of your plate? Well, we are against violence, but we must admit that this rhino knows how to protect personal borders. When the boar did not heed the first warning, he received an unusual flight experience instead of a portion of fresh grass. The rhino did not finish him off. He just taught a spectacular and obviously effective lesson when he launched the boar up with one powerful blow.